What's going on, guys? This is Joel with Muddy Crux Off-Road. Today we're going to be working on my 1994 Jeep Grand Cherokee ZJ that you see behind me. Our friend Brandon over at Vista Fabrication has hooked us up with a couple parts, one of which being his transfer case linkage. And if you know anything about ZJs, we're going to need it. So hang out, stay tuned. We're going to do an install video because it's not exactly the most straightforward install. This will help you out when you go to order yours. So this right here is what we're going to be working on today. The transfer case linkage comes out of the floor right here. This is your handle inside the Jeep. And we go down to this bracket and then it links to the transmission right in the transfer case right in here. So what we're going to do today is we're going to eliminate all of this extra slop. The known issue is that you can't get into 4-low, and if you can, it doesn't stay in it. So we're going to get rid of this rod, we're going to get rid of this bracket here, and we're going to install the Vista Fab shift linkage that simplifies everything and links these 2 points together and eliminates any room for error. So to give you guys a little bit better of an idea, this is another angle. So this here is your shifter inside your truck. It comes down to a rod here, okay? And this is where the problem starts. It's got two little plastic bushings that connect this rod to this linkage, okay? And then we go up above it, up here, and there's another rod that connects this bracket down to the actual transfer case linkage, down to this. So what the Vista Fab shift linkage is going to do, it's going to eliminate all these moving parts so that there's not this kind of slop. You get positive shifts, you know what mode you're in, and you can actually get all of the modes. So when you open up your packaging, this is what you get. This bracket here goes on your shift lever from the Jeep, and this fancy bolt here attaches that to the shift lever coming out of your Jeep. This bracket is going to replace the linkage that is on the transfer case itself to help correct geometry and make it so that you don't have to fight with the new linkage. And then you get two different actual linkages. One's for a 231, one's for a 242. And then he includes this picture here to give you an idea of the orientation and how they need to go on the Jeep. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to pop off all these linkages. They're all held on to these plastic bushings. We're just going to stick a screwdriver in between them and just pry them off. It might take a little bit of force and possibly two hands. Maybe a different screwdriver, but we're going to just pry them off. See how it moves off there? It's going to slide out of this plastic bushing. There's one here, there's one up here, there's one here on the transfer case, and then up above there is also one. We're just going to pop these off. As they come out, they just dangle. So we're going to repeat the process for, again, this one up here on the shifter, right here on the transfer case, and then the rod up here on the linkage bracket. Okay, so I got this rod off. You can see the plastic bushing still in there. That's not a big deal. I took it off up here. I'm going to have to get this bushing out of here because that's where the new Vista Fab linkage goes. I popped this off at the transfer case and I'm having an issue getting it out of there. So instead of me fighting with this upper one, this one here, what I'm going to do, since I don't believe in doing things halfway, is I'm going to take off this whole mounting bracket, okay? So there is a bolt here. This was a 16mm, and there's supposed to be a welded tab on top. I just wedged a screwdriver up there and ran an impact on there, 16mm. And then there is another screw right here. This has a welded tab on the nut, and it doesn't allow it to spin. You just have to get a 15mm ratcheting wrench up above this bolt here. So once you do that, this whole bracket's loose, and then you don't have to fight with the top part of this bracket. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take off these 4 bolts here. There's one here, here, one on top here, and one on top up here. We're going to take those off. And this whole thing is going to come out. We won't have to mess with getting that top linkage off. So after fighting with these bolts, turns out there's nuts on the inside. These just spin. And I don't feel like taking apart an interior today. So after a bunch of crying and prying and cussing and swearing, we got everything off. So the new bracket is going to bolt onto here, and we're going to go down to here. A lot simpler than going back and forth and up and down and sideways and cockeyed. So we're going to start up here and bolt the new Mountain Vista Fab linkage on and go from there. Okay, so we got the transfer case side linkage on. It's just held on with that one 14mm bolt. You have to make sure it's pointing up, and the point at the top of the linkage points towards the front of the vehicle. Next, we're going to put the shifter side linkage on. I've got the bolt in there already. This bracket is going to go on. It's got a couple lips on it. It's going to go on to the shifter like so. And it is going to also be angled towards the front of the vehicle. Okay, so we got the vehicle side shifter linkage bracket installed. We got the transfer case side bracket installed. Now all there is left to do is take our fancy dancy linkage here, and you're going to have to adjust it to get it to slide in properly. You want the nuts on the end, the jam nuts fully seated against the bracket. You're going to have to play with it and adjust it a little bit. And then you put the nuts on the end of it, and then we'll check for proper workage. Okay, so here we have the finished product. We've got the linkage installed here. It took some fiddling to get the adjustment right, but we got it to go through all the gears. Everything's happy. Kind of hard to operate from down here, but it's like I said, it's going to take some fiddling. Once everything's bolted on, you're going to have to adjust this all thread about 400 times to get it right. But once you get it right, it operates good. It's a lot better than all the up-down bracketry that was on there from the factory. So once again, shout out to Brandon at Mountain Vista Fab. Thank you so much. Once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it helped you out. If you enjoy this type of content, make sure you subscribe, make sure you drop a like so you don't miss any of these videos. We're going to be doing a lot of this kind of content. We've got a JKU, we've got an XJ and a ZJ. We're going to be doing install videos like this on all three of those vehicles. So if you've got one of those vehicles and you're looking to mod it to make it more capable off-road, make sure you're subscribed. This channel is going to help you a lot.